Hey, heathens. I'm telling you right now, everyone accepts evolution. Everybody. But King, I was talking to this guy the other day. He said that he didn't accept evolution. He lied to you. Everyone accepts evolution. To some extent. This is just like the How to Deconvert a Christian. Okay, it's one of my earliest videos. If you haven't checked it out, go to the Essentials of King Heathen playlist and check it out. Imagine a ladder. Okay? You start off as a hardcore fundamentalist. You are not going to become an atheist right off the bat. The only way to get you to let go of your hardcore fundamentalism is to become a moderate. After you become a moderate, then you might become a skeptic. Then after you become a skeptic, then you might become you might become a deist. Then you might become an agnostic. Then you'll become an atheist. You know, it's all in steps, and there's little steps in between. But let's ignore all that. Same thing here. There's steps. What are those steps? Very interesting that you would ask. I present to you the scientific classification of animals. Starting with life, as in alive versus not alive. You then go to domain. Then you go to kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. And you have some sub-variations in between there if you so desire, depending on the animal itself. What does any of that mean? Okay, well, domain, for the broad sense of the term, is plant, animal, mineral. Not exactly, but close enough. Kingdom becomes more like you're talking about animal versus plant versus fungus versus, you get a little more specific in your type of animal. Domain and kingdom are very close. All right, phylum or division, whichever you prefer, you're breaking down a little bit more specific. It makes more sense if you look at subphylum. They've kind of separated off. Where you're talking about vertebrate versus non-vertebrate, you're talking about hexapoda versus whatever. You're talking the structure of the animal. How did it come together? Now, if you look at, say for instance, the tiger. Let's go with tiger. From kingdom, you're talking about animalia, or animal. Phylum is chordata. Again, phylum is just a weird one to explain in generic type of terms. But you're talking about a vertebrate for the most part. Here, chordata is the upstep from that, but the subphylum of a tiger is a vertebrate. So it has a backbone. Then the class is mammal, mammalia. And it is a mammal. We understand the difference between a mammal, bird, reptile, amphibian. Classes starts to get a little bit easier to understand. Order, carnivore. Carnivore, herbivore. Pretty easy to understand that, right? Okay, and then under family, you get to feline. Okay, of course you get scientific Latin names and things like that, but I'm not going to worry about those. Let's just talk about it. It's a feline. Okay, for us, our family is the hominid. Our order is the primate. When you compare that to the order of carnivore for the feline, it doesn't quite make sense, and there's a reason for that. You got to remember, these are just kind of made up terms that we kind of threw everything kind of together as they classified them out in a version to make sense to them at this particular point in time. It's all very gray area, right? But if it helps, if you basically what you're talking about is a family of felines. That's the important part. So we're hominids. They're felines. Wolves, dogs, whatever, are canines. That's the idea, right? From there, you get more specific. You have Siberian tigers. You have, dogs versus wolves. You have horses versus mules versus camels versus pigs, whatever. You have all these different classifications and all these different things, and they branch out in all different ways. Okay. Now, what the hell am I talking about? I've gone off into this whole big old tangent of all these different things. When you get someone who tells you that they do not accept evolution, ask them if they've ever heard of a liger. There is no proof of evolution. We've never seen it. Not true. We have successfully bred a lion and a tiger and got a liger. If this were in the open, out and about in the world, and this particular animal was vastly superior to the others, natural selection takes over, it lives over the others, and all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of ligers existing apart from the lions and the tigers, then there you go. Maybe the lions live over here and the tigers live over here and the ligers live over here, where it's more suitable for them, not so much here, not so much here, but more so here. Most people will accept that. They'll say, okay, fine, there is a liger, just like you can breed different types of dogs and get a new type of dog. The Labrador and the Poodle to get a Labradoodle. Same sort of concept. So what are we talking about here? We just bred two felines. This is when the biblical person goes to, yes, the Bible tells us that everything will go upon its kind. It's kind. Okay, so family equals kind. Feline equals kind, apparently. We are hominids. A hominid is not that far from a primate. And a feline is not that far from its order either. Okay? All of the different versions of felines, the jaguar, the cougar, the cheetah, leopard, tigers, lions, whatever it is that they may be, that all be part of this family of felines, are not that separate from their orders. Nor are all the different orders that much separate from their classes. Nor are most of their classes that much separate from their phylums, or their phylums separate from the kingdoms. This is where you break down the argument. If you can get a creationist to accept the fact that in fact species, i.e. a Labrador, will breed with another species, a poodle, which may even be subspecies, I'm not sure, it doesn't matter, or a family, or a genus, I guess you would say, a genus of a tiger and a lion can breed to make a new genus of a liger underneath the family category. Then why is it so hard to understand that a family can be separated out by breeding two very compatible things under the same order? Or two orders creating a new order underneath the same class, or another class being bred underneath the same phylum. Now, yes, you must be very, very close in order for breeding to take place. Things keep getting more and more specific. They don't get more and more general. They get more and more specific. That's why it's hard for you to understand. You're going from start to finish, not finish to start. But if you start from the finish and go back to start, it's not so confusing anymore, now is it? You can, in fact, breed species. You can, in fact, breed genuses, and you can, in fact, breed families. Before that, it's just made-up names to classify animals. That's really all it is. If you accept that, you accept evolution. Sorry to break it to you. If you go all the way back to biogenesis, I don't care, but you understand that evolution did happen. So, now that we've cleared the air and we all accept evolution, have a great day.